Imagine waking up tomorrow, just rolling over in bed and groggily muttering just a few natural words to your phone.
Right, like before you've even had a chance to fully wake up.
Exactly. Before you even open your eyes all the way, before you check a single email, your phone just knows your exact cognitive state.
Which is wild to think about.
It really is. It knows if you are on the brink of clinical burnout or, conversely, that you're primed for this really high focus day. And it knows this just from the microscopic tremors in your morning voice.
Yeah.
So welcome to the deep dive. For you, the listener, our mission today is to explore a really fascinating research protocol and technology platform from Vibes AI. They call it Mantro, Point 8. And their goal is to become the world's most accessible neuro-wellness platform.
I mean, it sounds completely like science fiction, right? Having an app diagnose your brain health before you've even had your coffee.
Definitely.
But looking at the state of artificial intelligence right now, I mean, we're in May 2026. And this is a highly active, incredibly well-funded area of development. And the entire premise rests on this biological reality that we often ignore, which is that our vocal cords are basically fiber optic cables plugged directly into our central nervous system.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand why massive tech companies are suddenly racing to measure our brainwaves through our speech patterns, we kind of have to look at the baseline state of our modern brains.
Right. The baseline is not great.
No, it's not. Vibes AI describes our collective cognitive situation as a self-reinforcing doom loop, which is a great phrase. They call it the triple brain epidemic. And I have to admit, reading through their breakdown, it hit uncomfortably close to home for me.
Oh, I think it hits close to home for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It is sobering when you see the actual metrics of how our society functions, or, well, rather, barely functions.
Barely, yeah.
We are operating on the absolute brink of systemic cognitive exhaustion right now.
So the first pillar of this epidemic they identify is what they call attention collapse. And the research notes that millennials and Gen Z, they essentially cannot sustain 20 minutes of focused work anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, we cap out before 20 minutes. But honestly, I think worse than that is the friction required just to start working. The time it takes to enter a state of deep focus, it's stretched from 8 minutes to 23 minutes.
That is a massive jump.
It is. When you spend almost half an hour just wrestling your brain into paying attention, you're exhausted before you even do the work. So it's no wonder, 74 to 83% of workers are reporting severe burnout.
Yeah, and the underlying mechanism behind that inability to focus is what they call the second pillar, which is nervous system breakdown.
Right.
The protocol points out that 70% of people are actively doom scrolling between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Guilty. I'm definitely guilty of that.
Most of us are. We log 7+ hours of daily screen time. And let's look at what that actually does to the body. Every time you scroll past a stressful headline or, a jarring video or even just a rapid-fire sequence of notifications, your amygdala fires off.
And that's the brain's threat detection center, right?
Exactly.
So we are basically tricking our own biology into thinking a predator is jumping out at us every single time our phone buzzes.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Your body releases a microdose of cortisol and adrenaline. And when you do that for 7 hours a day, culminating in a late-night doom scrolling session, your nervous system never gets the biological signal that it is safe to enter a parasympathetic state.
That's the rest and digest mode.
Right. So you become neurochemically locked in perpetual fight or flight. The brain is treating the sheer volume of digital input as this constant low-grade physical threat.
Which leads right into the third pillar, the mood and meaning void. And this isn't just people feeling a little stressed on a Monday. We are talking about functional impairment on a global scale.
The numbers are wild.
Staggering. A $400 billion annual loss in productivity just to cognitive fatigue. Our brains are simply, they're too tired to generate the neurochemicals required for motivation or purpose.
And this raises an important question, right? How is modern medicine addressing this massive deficit?
I'm guessing not well.
Terribly. The short answer is terribly. We spend $1 trillion globally treating the end-stage symptoms of cognitive decline.
$1 trillion?
Yeah, we wait for someone's executive function to completely fail, and then we throw these expensive pharmaceuticals and clinical care at them. But, and this is a critical data point in this research, 40% of cognitive decline is entirely preventable.
Wow. Okay, so I am totally guilty of ignoring my own mental fatigue until I crash, but I have to push back a little on how we solve this
Sure.
because it feels like we're driving a car with the parking brake securely pulled up, flooring the gas, and looking around wondering why the engine is smoking.
That's a good analogy.
Right. But simply installing a shiny new check engine light on the dashboard doesn't actually fix the smoking engine. So how does an app, even an AI-powered one, move beyond just telling us we are stressed?
Well, to fix the engine, you first need a hyper-accurate, scalable way to pop the hood and look inside day after day. Traditional cognitive testing requires, specialized clinics, neurologists, hundreds of dollars per session.
Which nobody's doing every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's unscalable. So, to build a preventative model, Anentria Point 8 relies on the most complex, widely available biological instrument we possess.
Our voice.
What's fascinating here is the sheer physiological complexity of human speech.
Yeah.
Most people think of talking as just, pushing air out of their lungs. But in reality, to produce a single sentence, your brain has to fire signals down the vagus nerve and the recurrent laryngeal nerve.
Just to coordinate the muscles. Right?
Exactly. Dozens of tiny muscles in your throat, your jaw, your tongue. Your vocal cords are vibrating anywhere from 100 to 300 times every single second.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate for you, the listener, for a moment.
Go for it.
I talk to my phone for 30 seconds. It records those vibrations. How does it jump from hearing me say, like, grocery list, to knowing my deep cognitive state? I mean, how is this different from a digital mood ring that just detects I sound grumpy?
Because Montreo Point 8 is completely ignoring what you say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the words don't matter at all. It is analyzing how the central nervous system coordinates that physical act of speaking. Remember those 100 to 300 vibrations a second?
Yeah.
Maintaining that rhythm requires intense, high-speed neuromuscular control. When you are cognitively depleted, when your brain is bathed in cortisol, or when early-stage cognitive decline begins, that neuromuscular control slips.
So the brain essentially starts dropping packets of information on its way to the throat.
That is a great way to think about it. The delay might be just milliseconds, but it manifests in the voice as these microscopic shifts in pitch, irregular pacing, and tiny acoustic variations called jitter and shimmer.
Jitter and shimmer.
Right. And the AI model reads over 500 of these distinct hidden acoustic biomarkers in real time. Over 500. It is listening to the underlying neurological static that you just can't hear with the naked ear.
Which is why this technology is so wild. The research indicates that tracking these 500-plus biomarkers has the potential to identify cognitive shifts up to 5 years before clinical symptoms even emerge.
5 years.
5 years. That's the difference between catching a spark and trying to put out a forest fire.
Exactly.
Right.
And the only way to detect a spark that early is by establishing a highly personalized baseline. The AI isn't comparing your vocal shimmer to a database of a million other random people.
Okay, so it's not just a generic average.
No, not at all. It learns what your voice sounds like on a phenomenal, high-focus day, and it learns what your voice sounds like when you slept 4 hours and are drowning in stress. It compares you to you.
Okay, but having a dashboard that tells me my brain is currently at a 40 out of 100 is great for self-awareness. But if I'm at a 40, I'm still at a 40. I still have to get through my workday. My smartwatch tells me I slept terribly all the time, but it doesn't actually help me fix it. It just sort of shames me with bad data.
Yeah, and you've just identified the core flaw in the current wellness ecosystem. It is completely fragmented. You have assessment tools like your sleep tracker, and you have intervention tools like a meditation app,
Right.
but they operate in silos. You never close the loop.
Yeah, you sit down and do a 20-minute guided breathing exercise, and you have zero biological proof that it did anything to your nervous system. You just have to cross your fingers and hope you feel more relaxed.
And here's where Mundra claims to solve the fragmentation. They've designed what they call the Neuro-Wellness Infinite Loop. Assessment and intervention are finally talking to each other in real time.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's walk through how this loop actually plays out for you as a user.
Okay.
Step 1, you open the app and do a simple 30-second voice check-in. Step 2, the AI scans those 500 biomarkers and instantly generates a brain readiness score from 0 to 100.
Right. And that score answers 4 very immediate questions.
What are they?
First, what should I do right now? Which dictates your immediate intervention. Second, am I building the habit? Which is tracked through a sound streak.
Okay.
Third, am I getting better over time? Which calculates your overarching resilience score based on how quickly you bounce back from stressful days. And fourth, how do I compare? which connects you to community benchmarks they call the Vibes Tribe.
Okay, so let's say the AI has diagnosed that my brain is a fried, exhausted 42 out of 100. Now the intervention kicks in.
Yes, the intervention is an engine called AURA, Adaptive Unlimited Restorative Audio.
AURA.
Right. Based precisely on your voice analysis, the app prescribes hyper-personalized sound therapy. Now, I really want to clarify something critical here.
Yeah.
We are not talking about generic ambient synthesizer music or like recordings of a rainforest.
No, we are talking about sound as a physical mechanism of medicine.
Exactly. AURA uses something called engineered 40 Hz gamma entrainment. Let's break down the mechanics of it.
Please do.
Your brain operates at different electrical frequencies depending on what you are doing. Delta waves happen when you're in deep sleep. Gamma waves, which oscillate at around 40 times per second, or 40 hertz, are associated with peak concentration, high-level cognitive processing, and memory recall.
So if my brain is sluggish and running on low-frequency waves, how does playing a sound fix that? I mean, how does hearing something change my brain waves?
Think of it like a tuning fork.
Okay.
If you strike a tuning fork and hold it next to a guitar string, the sound waves physically push against the string until it begins vibrating at the exact same frequency.
Oh, wow.
That is called entrainment. AURA plays specifically engineered acoustic rhythms pulsing at 40 hertz. As your auditory cortex processes that sound, it physically coaxes your brain's neurons to sync up and start firing at that 40 hertz gamma frequency.
That is wild.
Yeah, it is literally jump-starting your brainwaves back into a focused state.
That tuning fork analogy makes so much sense. It's not just distracting you with nice music, it's mechanically pacing your neurons. And AURA tailors this with 10 different vibe modes. So if your voice shows you are completely scattered from constant notifications, it prescribes a digital detox mode. If you need to lock in on a spreadsheet, it gives you deep work. If you are totally burned out at 3 p.m., you get brain reboot.
And then we reach the most important part of the loop.
Right.
The part where they prove it isn't just a placebo effect. After you listen to your prescribed AURA session, you don't just close the app. You do another 30-second voice assessment.
You literally watch the needle move. The documentation highlights a real-world example of a user watching their brain readiness score jump from a 61 to an 88 in just 22 minutes.
Yeah.
You have mathematical, biological proof that the acoustic tuning fork actually worked.
And every time you complete that cycle, your voice reveals the deficit, the sound restores the brain waves, and the second voice check proves the recovery.
The loop.
Exactly. The AI model learns from that. It maps how your specific neurological makeup responds to specific acoustic frequencies, becoming exponentially more effective over time.
But wait, to build an AI that can spot microscopic vocal changes and prescribe the perfect frequency, you'd need an absolutely massive baseline of human voices to train the model.
You would.
Where is Vibes AI getting all that data?
That is the exact reason they are publicizing this research right now in May 2026. They are in the final stages of training the Mantri 0.8 model before its Q3 launch.
Ah, okay.
And to make sure it accurately detects burnout and cognitive decline across humanity, they need diverse, real-world data.
Which introduces their philosophy of the bioharmonizer. Let's look at the apps currently sitting on our home screens. Almost all of them operate on an extractive model.
Oh, totally.
Social media platforms, news feeds, mobile games, they are engineered to mine your attention, regardless of how much cortisol it pumps into your system or how depleted you feel afterward.
Right.
But Vibes AI wants to pioneer regenerative technology. The explicit goal is that every interaction leaves you biologically restored.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Vibes AI is not trying to build a meditation app. They're trying to build global healthcare infrastructure.
Yeah.
The roadmap outlined here points to the year 2036. By then, they want the brain readiness score to be universally recognized as the fifth vital sign.
Sitting right there on your medical chart alongside your pulse, your blood pressure, your temperature, and your respiration rate.
Exactly. And for that to happen, it cannot be a luxury service for tech executives in Silicon Valley. It has to work globally.
Right.
They state their goal is accessibility from Brentwood to Belize, from Columbus to Colombo. The model already operates across 15-plus languages because, as we discussed, it measures the neuromuscular mechanics of speech, not the vocabulary.
But to build that global model, they need everyday people to donate their voice.
Yes.
They are specifically asking for natural, messy, real-world audio. They don't want you reading a script in a quiet room. They want the audio of you when you are sharp at 9 a.m., and they want the audio of you when you are completely fried at 4 p.m.
But anytime a company asks to collect biometric data, especially something as intimately revealing as a voice sample that contains 500 neurological markers, the immediate necessary concern is privacy.
Absolutely. I looked for the privacy firewall immediately because if my voice reveals my cognitive decline, I definitely don't want that floating around the internet.
Right. But based on their protocol, they have structured the data collection to bypass identity entirely.
Okay, how?
You contribute via a simple 3-minute web form. You don't create an account, you don't provide your name, and you don't link an email address.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the voice sample is mathematically stripped of personal identifiers the moment it hits their servers. It is never sold, never shared, and literally cannot be attributed back to you. It exists solely to teach the AI what human fatigue sounds like.
And they are offering some solid incentives for the people who help train the model right now. If you spend 3 minutes donating a voice sample, you get guaranteed early access to the platform when it launches in Q3. Plus, you get designated with founding bioharmonizer status, which plugs you into early research findings and new features before the general public.
It is a really unique opportunity to lay the bricks for a completely new category of preventative healthcare,
Mm.
well before the space becomes inevitably crowded and commercialized.
So what does this all mean? If we step back and look at the trajectory we've mapped out today, we are at a massive inflection point.
We really are.
We are leaving an era where we just blindly accept the triple brain epidemic. We accept being exhausted, distracted, and burned out as just the cost of doing business in the modern world.
Right.
But now we are entering an era where we can track the physical health of our brain as easily as glancing at our daily step count. And instead of waiting for a breakdown to get a pharmaceutical prescription, we can use engineered sound as our daily medicine.
It restores a profound sense of agency. You no longer have to guess why you can't focus. You can measure the deficit, apply an acoustic intervention, and verify the result. And the choices you make today, like taking 3 minutes to contribute your voice to a secure research model, are quite literally the foundational steps toward building this preventative safety net for 1 billion people tomorrow.
It is an incredibly hopeful vision, using our own vocal cords to map our nervous system and using targeted sound to heal our own brains entirely in private.
Absolutely.
But understanding the sheer power of these 500 hidden acoustic biomarkers leaves me with a somewhat chilling question, a thought I want to leave you, the listener, to ponder on your own.
Okay.
If the microscopic tremors in our speech so clearly broadcast our exact neurological state, our hidden burnout, our loss of focus, our subtle cognitive decline, what happens when other AI systems learn how to listen?
Oh, wow.
Right. What happens when the AI running your corporate Zoom calls or analyzing your job interview or monitoring your tone in a customer service queue starts reading those exact same 500 biomarkers without your consent?
That is a terrifying thought.
In a near future where your voice is quite literally an open window into the intimate health of your brain, will we eventually need to invent technology to mask our own voices just to keep our inner thoughts and mental fatigue private?
That is the ultimate paradox of discovery. Once we build a lens powerful enough to see the invisible, we can never control who else might look through it.
Something to think about the next time you unmute your microphone. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Take care of your brains out there.